Hello, my name is Chris and I'm a U-Haul hitch professional. If you're planning on towing a trailer with your Subaru WRX, then you're going to need trailer wiring. It is required by the law. Now let's take a look at how I completed this install. You will need the following tools or supplies to complete this installation. This wiring installation is best done while we're doing the hitch and the taillights are removed and the fascia is removed. For those of you who are not at that position and the hitch was already on, let's quickly take a look at how to remove the taillights. Raise your trunk lid so you can remove the taillight trim by removing the push fastener. That uses a Phillips head as a center, and you can use your flat head to help pull the center out. Now we can pry the trim away from the vehicle. Use your trim panel tool to gain a little leverage. This exposes two 10mm fasteners. Gently pull out the one clip in the taillight so we can remove the electrical harness. Depress the white tab to remove the harness. Use a flathead screwdriver if needed. You can now repeat these steps to remove your passenger side taillight. For those of you with the fascia on, you will need a fishing device, a fishing pole, or an extra length of wire that you'll be able to pass down the taillight cavity and through the support structure in order to tape the wiring to it and pull it back up. Now pass or fish your adapter with your red, yellow, and brown up to the driver's side taillight. You can now install the wiring harness to the vehicle adapter or to the end of the jumper. We can now plug the green adapter in on the passenger side, and after we plug it in, we will work our way backwards, securing the slack. Again, you can either pass through the adapter or fish wire the adapter into the taillight cavity. Now plug in your green adapter. We can now zip tie the green wire to the existing electrical wire, bringing all the slack to the driver's side and the converter box, using provided zip ties. If you have the bumper off, you can zip tie the red, yellow, and brown wire here as well. You can now use the provided self-tapping screw to affix your ground wire. We can now install our power wire, so let's jump to the engine compartment. I will be using the U-Haul exclusive Power Wire 1. It is an OEM grade power lead with built-in resistances, so for that reason, I'm going to start here and work my way backwards. Place the fuse cover on the fuse holder. We will get power from underneath the battery cover. Remove the cover to gain access to power with a 12mm socket. Place the ring terminal over the post and re-secure the fastener. Lower the profile of the butt connector in order to return the cover. Now set the fuse holder aside so we can fish the power lead up from underneath the vehicle. Due to the location of the catalytic converter on the driver's side, we are actually going to run the power wire down the passenger side for a change. Grab your fishing wire and follow your hard metal brake lines right here down the vehicle wall. Now tape the pin of the power lead to the fishing pole so you can pull it into the engine compartment. Be sure not to get caught on anything. We're going to route the power wire along the brake lines and over our brake master cylinder and to the power lead, but it's easier to connect it and zip tie the slack backwards. Insert the pin of the power lead into the fuse holder. And we can now zip tie it in position, working all our slack to the rear. We do not want the power wire snug against the power distribution panel, so let's push a little slack downward before we zip tie it here. Another zip tie here. We're now going to pass the power wire away from the intercooler and zip tie it to the brake lines here with a couple of zip ties. Now route the power wire to the back of the vehicle. Go over any cross members and avoid any hot or moving parts. Lower these two underbody panels to hide the wire underneath. Route the end of the wire here behind the passenger wheel well. Pass the power wire between the carpeted trim and the metal trim to the outside of the vehicle. At this point, our power wire 1 is out of length, so we need to add just a little bit to get it to the converter box. Luckily, we can use the power wire that's included with the kit. If you've used the power wire included with the kit, you will need just a couple more feet of 12 gauge wire to finish the wiring. You will need to provide an additional butt connector. I'm going to use a heat shrink butt connector. Melt the heat shrink with your heat source of choice. Be sure to go over this drain spout and tuck the power wire snugly underneath the air vent so you can secure it to this wiring here. You can now connect the power wire to the converter box. I will again use a heat shrink butt connector instead of the one provided with the kit. Now mount the converter box using the provided double-sided sticky tape. Coil up any slack in your green or black wire to be secured with your long zip tie to the converter box. For those of us with the fascia off, we're going to leave the 4-flat dangling so that we can mount it on a bracket in the fascia afterward. You can now return the fascia to the vehicle. For detailed steps on returning the fascia, follow the link on the screen to the hitch installation video. We will now mount our 4-flat connector onto a bracket. It is not included with the kit, but you can pick one up at your nearest local U-Haul hitch center or purchase one from the link in the description below. Use the bracket as a template to drill out 2 holes using a 3/16 drill bit. The bracket does include 2 types of hardware. I, however, prefer using a rivet. Place on the retention strap of the dust cover. Wiggle the 4-flat into position. And then cover it with the cover. You can now install a 10 amp mini fuse that is not provided with the Power Wire 1. That concludes trailer wiring on your Subaru WRX. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to practice safe trailering, and I can't wait to see you out there. If you have any questions about the products seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with your local U-Haul hitch professional, please visit us online at uhaulhitches.com. You can also download the U-Haul app using the link in the description for even more ways to manage your hitch and towing needs.